Superman versus Godzilla. One of the most powerful heroes in the universe is squaring off against the big, giant mutant lizard. And using the DCEU and Monsterverse versions of the characters, well, who's ultimately coming out on top? Who's gonna win? Well, let's break it down. Now, for this showdown, even though we're going to be limiting Superman to just the version from the DCEU, just make it movie versus movie, still, this guy's an absolute powerhouse. In fact, this version of Superman has shown some of the best raw physical feats that you'll ever see, which of course does make sense. He's Superman. He's been able to casually pull massive ships, lift up rocket ships, even fly around carrying an entire apartment building. Those are easily multi-ton feats right there. The guy's definitely strong. And all that strength also easily translates to when we see him in fights. Even in his very first fight against Zod and his Kryptonian warriors, well, Superman was kinda wrecking shop. Sure, they were able to get their own hits in, but Superman was still strong enough to dominate in a 2-on-1 fight. Then when he actually faced off against General Zod, well, he ended up killing him and destroyed basically all of Metropolis in the process. He showed off that same strength when he completely no-sold the Justice League and casually overpowered 3 of them at once. And these dudes are definitely strong. Then he also managed to fight and beat up Doomsday, even though he had been weakened from kryptonite right before and then got caught in a nuclear explosion in the middle of the fight. And he completely bodied Steppenwolf, a dude who can also fight against Doomsday. Heck, Superman even managed to overpower literal world-ending and world-shaping events. He's done it multiple times. He overpowered the beam sent out from the World Engine and then one-shot the machine. Then he did it again, ripping apart and overpowering the 3 mother boxes. So yeah, I say it again. Superman is like ridiculously strong. He's also crazy tough. I mean, we mentioned it in passing, but the guy straight up survived a nuclear explosion. And a pretty massive nuclear explosion at that, considering that you can see it from outer space. He's straight up destroyed mountaintops as he crashed back to Earth. He's taken attacks from Cyborg and Wonder Woman like it was nothing. Heck, Superman even no-sold an attack from Steppenwolf and his axe. That same guy was dominating all the rest of the JL, and like we mentioned, he had already had a fight against another version of Doomsday, and they destroyed a moon in their fight together. Superman completely no-sold those attacks. And speaking of Doomsday, well, he managed to take all sorts of attacks from Doomsday, including massive energy wave attacks that were leveling the city. But seriously, he took all sorts of attacks from Doomsday and from Zod, and for the most part, Superman has been able to take it all no problem. He's ridiculously tough. But you can say really all the same for Godzilla, except for the fact that Godzilla is probably stronger and tougher. Like as for Godzilla, well, there's pretty much no other Alpha Titan that can stand up to him. Trust me, plenty have tried. But Godzilla has been able to fight against and kill the 2 Mutos. He's fought against and beaten Kong. He's fought against King Ghidorah. Pretty much no one can stand up against him. And these are all some really serious monsters too. I mean, the Mutos weigh 76,000 tons and 46,000 tons. Kong is 93,000 tons. King Ghidorah weighs 140,000 tons. So when Godzilla is just throwing these guys around with ease and decking them with attacks, well, you gotta factor that in. Godzilla is insanely strong. He easily overpowered all these titans. He easily fought against Shimo too in the new movie. And some of these monsters are seen creating country-sized earthquakes. And of course, that's not even mentioning the smaller stuff. like Godzilla walking through skyscrapers and leveling cities during his fight. All of that is just a given. He's ridiculously strong. And as Godzilla has gotten into his fair share of fights against other titans throughout the years, everyone just seems to be gunning for that crown. Well, they've all definitely got their hits in. I mean, just look at King Ghidorah. Godzilla was able to pretty consistently trade blows with Ghidorah, take everything that Ghidorah had. Really, Ghidorah had no true shot at taking Godzilla down until he amped himself with all the electricity in Boston. And then there's Kong. And for as powerful as Kong is, for being another true alpha titan, well, Godzilla was basically toying with him the entire time. And that's seriously not all either. Godzilla is regularly surviving nuclear bombs. Like he survived the Castle Bravo nuke, a 15 megaton nuke that at the time was the largest nuke ever detonated. Godzilla took it like a champ. Then there's the Oxygen Destroyer. Godzilla survived that even while taking it directly on the head. And last but not least, the Permian impact, a straight up extinction level event. It broke apart the Earth's crust, created an explosion even larger than Africa, and killed 90% of all life on the planet. Godzilla just took it while he just kept on swimming. Basically, Godzilla is operating on just a straight up insane level. He's nearly impossible to hurt, much less put down for good. There have been a few times where he's been knocked out, a few low showings along the way, but the guy is insanely tough. Taking gigantic nuclear bombs directly to the face, tough. So yeah, both Superman and Godzilla can level cities during their fight, but I think it's safe to say Godzilla has proven that he's still a bit stronger and he's definitely tougher. Superman was almost killed by a nuke, and he was killed by an extinction level event. Godzilla has taken both of these directly to the face and kept on going. Of course, the one area where Superman definitely has the edge is speed, because Clark is stupid fast. He's able to absolutely statue other heroes, even though heroes like Wonder Woman are lightning timers. He's been able to casually break the sound barrier and keep up with the Flash while he's been flying around, and Superman really has no problem with completely abusing his speed either. I mean, just ask Steppenwolf how hard it is to land a punch on this guy. It is totally possible for Superman to just abuse his speed in this fight too, just flying around Godzilla's head like an annoying little gnat, not getting hit once, then laying into Godzilla with some pretty powerful punches. However, in order to win that way, Superman is going to have to play a perfect fight. He really can't be tagged more than once, especially with Godzilla's atomic breath, because Superman just doesn't have the durability to take attacks like that. The man was almost killed by just one nuke. Godzilla has that kind of power and more to spare. And that's another thing to keep in mind here. Godzilla has seriously upgraded after the new Empire, and this new iteration of Big G is seriously more powerful. Just from absorbing the radiation and energy from the French nuclear power plant, well, that version of Godzilla was compared to the burning Godzilla that we saw in Boston, except a safer and more stable form. And then Godzilla upgraded again, so now he's said to have doubled in combat power from his prior form, and his energy capacity is 20 times greater than it used to be at his peak. When he's unleashing attacks, well, it's the strongest energy readings that anyone had ever seen. So yeah, he's seriously upgraded. Godzilla's nuclear energy and atomic breath is such a powerful attack, compared to the same kind of cosmic energy that's found in supermassive black holes, and it's been compared to a dying star about to go supernova. And it wasn't enough to just decapitate the female Muto, but it also pushed back King Ghidorah, and didn't just push back the 140,000 ton monster, but according to the novelization, well, it was slowly burning Godzilla alive and had him just screeching out in pain. The same guy who can survive the Oxygen Destroyer, well, that monster was being injured and burned by Godzilla's atomic blast. And then, of course, there's the time where Godzilla uses atomic breath to burrow all the way down to the hollow earth. Easily the craziest thing the big lizard has ever done. It's a country-level feat at the bare minimum. It's absolutely crazy that Godzilla is able to do something like this. And all of that was from before Godzilla evolved and became 20 times more powerful. So again, you're asking Superman to fight a perfect fight. He can't get tagged once, because Godzilla's atomic energy is definitely packing the power of a nuke and then some. Now, it's possible for Superman to fight a perfect fight. He's done it before. He didn't let Steppenwolf get one good hit on him. But I'm not really putting too much stock into it happening consistently, especially now that Godzilla has figured out how to unleash omnidirectional nuclear pulses, and since Godzilla has gotten a whole lot faster and more agile himself. Odds are that Godzilla is going to be able to land at least one hit on Superman here, and that one hit is likely all he needs. Superman just hasn't shown off the durability to remain in this fight, especially compared to just how durable Godzilla is. With Godzilla continuing to evolve and get more powerful from movie to movie, well, the edge is gonna have to go to him. Superman's strength and speed will make it interesting and keep the fight closer, but I gotta ultimately give it to Big G here. Godzilla wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.